batsman in, of course, for Nepal.
Swing and a miss. A flash outside off stump there. Once again beaten for pace. Lucky that Arif didn't get bat on it. 2 overs completed, 5 for 2.
Well, if you've just joined us, what an entertaining start we've had to this second. I've already lost a couple of wickets through, should we say, unforced errors perhaps. And there's already a change in the bowling.
It's going to be seen from both sides now. Sean Williams takes himself off after just 1 full first over. It's going to be Daniel Jackiel from the pavilion end now. Arif Sheikh, someone who you can expect plenty of maturity from.
Yeah.
He has a good temperament. He's happy to hang in there and play second fiddle to the captain. He did that on one previous occasion as well. And he will need to do this. It's got to be these two gentlemen once again to do the job. Fantastic from the captain, right? Stand and deliver. Punched off the back foot on the rise. No chance for the mid-off fielder, and it races away for a boundary. The first for the captain.
I mean, that's pretty much in the slot, isn't it? It's there to be just not a great start, I'm afraid, for Jackiel. You need to look at that length a little bit.
Just get the feeling that it may not necessarily be as easy as a track as what we saw 2 nights ago.
Yeah, it's interesting. Of course, we've now changed that, haven't we, after the first 3 days of action. We've also had, by the way, a lot of wet weather in the couple of days. Very different kind of conditions that we had, not just on the pitch, but just around us as well. It's actually very nice. You and I were having a little meal in the break. A bit of breeze coming through, not so humid. Watchful. That's all you need. You've got your boundary. You're not taking chances. This could have happened the last couple of overs.
Yeah. You don't need to press the panic button just yet. They have a few overs to get used to conditions here. You haven't seen much of Daniel Jackiel, so you want to do that. And the runs will come just like that. You will have your full tosses. Just a single on this occasion, though.
Absolutely right. No need to rush it. This is not an insurmountable score over 20 overs. It's not. There are no devils in the wicket. It's not a massive ground. It can come. Patience is key here. Absolutely key. Now, Arif Sheikh, his first time facing Jackiel in this over. You'll have seen what his captain has done.
Was in the slot there, just to mid-off, though no run. His eyes probably lit up looking at that.
A little bit similar to that first delivery. I got hit for 4. A little bit fuller.
Full toss. Very interesting delivery from Daniel there. That dipped quite a bit. It was the slower one. For a second, it looked like it was going to reach the batsman on the full, but it died on the batsman. Ah, look at that.
Yeah.
And beat Arif Sheikh all ends up. Well, he can afford to smile.
Absolutely
But
couldn't pick that, could he?
3 overs completed, 10 for 2.
Nice end for Jakil there. Final ball there, deceiving Arif Sheikh. But it's a rebuilding exercise here for the Nepalese after losing two very, very hits.
I was just going to add, Shez, I just don't think this is going to be similar to what we saw in the first three games. My sense is that 160 might just be very competitive. Masinge, the new bowler from the far end, starts off with a very short delivery to Paras Katka. It's not going to be easy, I think. 10 for 2 in 3 overs. And sooner rather than later, the Nepali batsmen are going to be start looking at the scoreboard, and that required run rate will start creeping up pretty quickly.
What I like as well, as they get the quick single here, is everyone's bowling 1 over stints at the moment, keeping it interesting. Keeping the batsman thinking. The pressure's right on them. And given how we know that they're batting and how they've batted throughout this series, they don't like to keep it like this for too long.
Well, he managed to get enough bat on that to go past mid-on and mid-off. Past the bowler. He'll consider himself a bit lucky, I would say, Arif Sheikh, that could have so easily got the top edge and gone straight to the, or maybe mid-on. But he just got enough wood on that.
I thought for a second there that he didn't make it. You're right. Absolutely right. Similar kind of delivery. Arif Sheikh's almost listening to us out there. Like, we're talking about the pressure building up on them. They're trying to play their shots again.
Masinge is not holding back. 4 balls and 4 short deliveries. Goes full this time and responds very well indeed. That has to be the most convincing shot that we have seen in this little innings from Arif Sheikh. Excellent shot, and raced away to the cover boundary.
Full of conviction, isn't he, on that one? Absolutely smashed it. And that will do him a world of good. Is quite soon after we see a 4, we often see another rash shot. This has been the case so far. Let's see how Mashinga deals with this now.
How about that? Where has that gone? That's gone the distance. Boy, oh boy, Arif Sheikh coming to the party, 14 of 8, and he's taken 14 of the last 4 deliveries from Masinge. He's happy with the short ones. And it wasn't short enough, it wasn't full as well. Somewhere in between, and Arif Sheikh like that.
4 overs gone, 25 for 2, Nepal. A little bit of a recovery here. Well, we were talking a short while ago about Nepal a little bit. Have we just seen the little shoots of recovery? Chatara continues.
Waiver from Chatara starts off with a wide. But the reason why Sean Williams threw the ball to Tendai Chatara is because they need a wicket. If they can get one more wicket, one of these two gentlemen in the center, that certainly is going to put a lot of pressure on this Nepal team. These two are the in-form batsmen for Nepal.
Same kind of ball, and this time it's dispatched. Lovely little flick away. Paraskatka will gobble that up.
You can't afford to be drifting down the leg side, especially when you have short fine leg inside the 30-yard circle. There, Paraskatka would take that any day of the previous over.
Third wicket for Nepal goes down with the scoreboard reading 33. We are in the last over of the power plays. Brave move by the skipper, leading from the front. He knows how important this match is. Looks like the wicket keeper. Bino, number 7 for Nepal. It's out. Must say the momentum is with Zimbabwe at the moment. You know, it's shaping up to be a good contest.
Well, all three matches so far have been good contests. And it was important for Zimbabwe to try and get some early wickets, including that last one of the captain who was in that last game against Singapore.
This is excellent bowling. Sean Williams wouldn't mind the singles. In the power play, bowling with excellent control and bowling at the right speed on this track, showcasing his class and experience. Yes, what a wonderful tournament it has been thus far. Absolute cliffhangers. Last game. Then was a tactical game, the one before. Drifting down the leg side. Vinod Bandari there. Making Sean Williams pay. Backward square 4 runs. Good shot.
Yeah, he's seen it just go down the leg side, down on the one knee, helps it over that man at 45. At the end of the power play, 6 overs, 39 for 3. $39 for 3. Most importantly for Zimbabwe is they've removed the dangerous captain, Paraskatka, caught by Tony Munyongo off the bowling of Sean Williams in the last over for 12. Didn't get going tonight like he did the other day. But Zimbabwe still Ndari to deal with. Arif Sheikh, who's looking good, 17 from 11. Sompal Kami still to come. We saw how destructive he can be. And it's Tino Mtombodzi into the attack. Fifth bowler used in the 7th over.
There seems to be a conscious strategy, not allowing the batsman to settle into any. Sean Williams mixing his bowlers up.
Nicely tucked into the onside. Jamal, of course, you are the team manager for the Singapore men's team. You guys have been busy over the last 2 or 3 months, preparing obviously for the qualifier that you had here and won, and now the qualifier next month in UAE. Just tell us about the preparations you've had going into that tournament and the importance of tournaments like this to ensure that you don't only brush shoulders with some of the world and test playing cricketers, but just for the development of the game in the country as well.
Yes, we focus on our processes, and our director of coaching and our CEO, Sadkan Janjua, is very meticulous in the planning, right from previous tournament which we won, the Asia Finals. Before that, we played 15 games against a tailor-made side from Pakistan. And that led to us performing extremely well in that tournament. And we are very clear about what we want to get out of these encounters. Yes, it was okay and good to win against Zimbabwe. It was an honor to play them. But as far as Singapore are concerned, We are focusing on our processes, focus on the global qualifier in UAE. We are departing on the 10th of October. And we intend to qualify for the World Cup. There's 14 teams partaking. It's a very dangerous shot there. Arif Sheikh attempting to hoik it over long on. Yes, as I was saying, we are very much focused because 14 teams partaking, 6 will qualify. And I'm quietly confident that Singapore will be on that flight.
I'm liking the confidence, Jamal. We'll carry on talking about that in the next over. 7 overs gone, 41 for 3, Nepal.
Looks like Ryan Burl coming into the attack from the Rangoon lane end. He's got a shot third man, backward point, sweeper, struck cover and a long off. Short fine leg, deep backward square, deep mid wicket and a long on. Bowling to Binod Bandari. Straight away looks to turn it around the corner. Ryan Burl once again, bowling flatter in trajectory. Seemed to have studied how Lamishane was getting on about his business. I would say bowling in the high 90s. Good battle here.
Ooh, looking to go back over the bowler's head. Bit of turn for Ryan Burl. So you're talking about 14 teams partaking in the qualifiers in the UAE next month. 6 will qualify. Some of the other teams taking part in the tournament, if you can just enlighten us on that.
Yeah. There'll be some heavy hitters, Ireland, Scotland. But the way we focus on things is we like to take it one match at a time. We don't really who the opponent is and get faced by the situation. We played Zimbabwe. I'm sure we can take on Scotland and Ireland.
So is it 2 groups of 7 to start off the tournament? Round robin?
Yes, indeed. It's a round robin format and go through. And then there'll be one phase of the qualifiers from 11th to the 28th. And then thereafter, I'll tell you after this delivery. It's a brilliant bit of fielding there. Skipper once again. Yeah, and then the second phase continues on from 29th to the 3rd of November. And then from there, 2 teams go ahead. It's a very good delivery, tucked away onto the leg side for a single. And that's the end of the 8th over. Nepal 42 for the loss of 3 wickets.
William Mashinge back into the attack. Took a bit of stick from Arif Sheikh in his first over. Case maybe of some slight baptism of fire.
Yes, I think he seems to have had a change of ends. John Williams bringing him on from the Balestier Road end. And Binod Bandari, for some reason, doesn't look 100%. I saw him in the warm-ups. Seemed to have pulled a little bit of a hamstring niggle there. But he's Nepal. John Williams ringing the changes, not allowing the batsman to settle. At the same time, slowing the game down a little bit here. Contest on our hands, and I get the feeling that this one too will go down to the wire.
always in with a shout, aren't you? Especially if you've got wickets in hand. 120, 119 to be exact, needed from 72 balls at the moment. Nature of the ground, shorter straight boundaries, quick outfield. You always believe that if you can get a partnership going, then you're always in with a chance here at the India Association.
Yes, both teams need to be conscious, and this is something that we talk about in the Singapore changing room as well. Mindfulness, consciousness, match situational awareness. When you're on top, I like to use the example of a choke in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You got to know when to close the choke. When you're on top, never let the opposition come in.
Absolutely. It's game 4 of the Singapore Tri-Nation T20 International Series powered by Instagram. And if you're just joining us this evening, we're in studio with Mr. Chamal De Silva, manager of the Singapore men's side. We called Wide. We've just been talking about Singapore cricket, what they have been up to the last couple of months, of course, taking part in the World T20 qualifier next month. You've given us a background of that, a background of the tournament itself. Talk to us a little bit more about the importance of this particular tri-series for the players and the nation, as well as, can we expect in years to come to continue seeing these kind of tournaments, yourselves rubbing shoulders with the top teams in the world? Of course, you're talking about wanting to qualify for that T20. And if that happens, you know, the process that's got you there needs to continue.
Absolutely, Tino. That's the vision Singapore Cricket Association has. And that's a top edge, flies away down to the boundary for 4. Bit lucky there. I'll tell you what, Mashinge is extracting excellent bounds off this deck in IA. Big, burly, strong lad. Yes, more tournaments of this nature will certainly be a feature in Singapore's cricket fixtures. So that's what our vision is, the vision of the EXCO and of our CEO, to bring top-class teams here. And we have proven that we are able to host the events. And it's wonderful exposure for Singapore.
It's a nice shot. And that's a great fielding effort on the cover boundary. Ball just bouncing it awkwardly, but he's done well to get his body behind it and definitely save a boundary.
Yes, going on. And then we're also looking to a IPL-style franchise league that will feature top players from around the world. And Singapore, by nature, destinations in the world for the MICE industry and the events. A very safe place, convenient place. Cut away once again to sweeper.
Much experience as some of these Nepalese, some of these Zimbabweans, and be able to come out here and think, you know what, if they can get there, so can I. Very good work by the Singapore Cricket Association. End of the 9th over, 52 for 3.
Yes, I also want to mention the role the youngsters that have been groomed in the Singapore Cricket Association nursery that are now amongst the senior ranks, the likes of Janak Prakash, Rohan Rangarajan. They are really taking responsibility together with the likes of the experienced players, Amjad Mehboob and Tim David, who's joined us. It's an excellent delivery. Mudumbotsi continuing from the Rangoon Road end, straight away hitting good areas.
Make mention of, sorry, carry on.
It's been a good mix of youth and experience, and also the ecosystem has allowed these players to integrate seamlessly into their performances. Drill down to long on. PJ Moore patrolling the long.
As you were mentioning those players, you mentioned Janak Prakash. I played against him in Malaysia a couple of years ago. Certainly come along in leaps and bounds. That's a good shot. Has he got enough on it? No, he doesn't. He's got more of a top edge than the middle of the bat with that shot. Arif Sheikh, and unfortunately, he has to go.
Well, he lived by the sword. Arif Sheikh made a good innings there. But excellent bit of bowling there by Mudumbatsi. varied the pace, false shot, and made sure that the batsman took on the longest boundary on the park. 53 for the loss of 4 now. They are losing wickets far too regularly. Zimbabwe showing their experience, their class. And I'm glad it's Nepal playing them today. Or somebody was going to be at the receiving end.
Absolutely. Very quickly before we get on with the innings, Janak Prakash, I was talking about, I played against him a couple of years ago and really has come on in leaps and bounds. Kushal Mala's the new man at the crease. And just good to see that he's got some shape on the ball. He's a young, strong bowler. A couple of wickets that he did get really away. One from the right-hander. Wonderful Yorker to dismiss Ryan Burl at the end of the innings in the last game. In swinging into the left-hander. A couple of variations as well. So the future of Singapore cricket certainly looks bright, and good to see the youngsters coming through the ranks and quality performances.
John Williams will be very pleased with his leg spinner and the job he's doing. He's a brilliant fielder, and his bowling has certainly improved remarkably. And he was also picked up by some of the high-performance talent scouts that were here during the Asia final from Australia and New South Wales. And well, it I guess, to be complimented by Australians with regards to fast bowling. At the end of 10 overs, Nepal 53 for the loss of 4 wickets.
Full of the batsman is gone. It's swung a few ways this match, but I think Zimbabwe will be pretty happy with this at them.
I think the key was those early wickets, which they got, and that especially of the captain, Paras Khadka.
You've also talked about Nepal's batting overall and how they like to play their shots. And that can often be their undoing.
Yeah, you're right, Shazad. Nothing wrong with wanting to play your shots, but I think you just need to make sure that when those shots aren't coming off, you've got something else that you can go to. Hitting the ball in the gaps, getting yourself to the other side, running between the wickets. The problem comes when you try and get those early boundaries, you don't get them. And between, there's no medium. It's either a block or I'm going for the big one. Quite often, if you go for the big one and you don't get it 2-3 times, then a false stroke comes because there's been no runs at all in the over or for a period.
They're creating their own pressure, aren't they? They're putting it on themselves. That's not helping. I think Tony Munyunga has had an excellent spell so far. Been very, very economical, and he's racing through this as well.
That you've got spinners that get through the overs quickly, especially if you've got him getting you to hit the ball where he wants you to in the field, then he's getting through the overs very quickly. Before you realize there's a ball left in the over, and before you realize that the over's done.
56 for 4 off 11, Nepal. Well, we've had a lot of bowling tonight from Zimbabwe. And it's working. There was a period where it was all little one-over spells. Ryan Burl back into action.
is one thing that's been consistent. We're on pitch number Z. The first 3 games played on the one next to it, pitch number 2. But seamers, back of a lance going through to the keeper. Spinners, maybe not so much turn. The first couple of games, we saw Lamichane get a considerable amount. But the rest of the spinners, not so much turn, but again bounce. A lot of the wickets that have fallen to the spinners is because of extra bounce. I think that was the case with Paras Khadka today. And a couple of other wickets in those first few round games. Again, okay, that's turn, but you don't expect the ball to really be getting that much bounce.
Absolutely. It's just rising a little more than everyone's expecting. Nice to have these sort of different conditions than we had in the first few days. See, that shouldn't be going in the air as much as it did. But he's got the boundary. Kushal Mala.
I think this was the googly from Ryan Burl. It was. Bounce helping out Kushal Mala on this occasion. Hit through the line of the ball, but because of how it got to him, that allowed him to hit it over those fielders in the inner ring. Man back now goes to sweeper on the offside boundary.
Oh dear. That is another one. Snagged. And Kushal Mala is gone.
I think it's the googly again from Ryan Burl. It is. He's looking to go over long on. Rich for William Mashinge. So Kushal Mala has struggled today. He goes for 5 from 9. 62 for 5, Nepal.
Sompal Kami, the new batsman, in real trouble here. 62 for 5. Just over the halfway mark as well. They have a lot of work to do if they want to get something match. Ryan Burl has picked up his first wicket of the game. And I think it's safe to say pretty much wicket tonight from Nepal has been kind of a giveaway, isn't it?
Been very disappointing. Chalk and cheese, the manner in which today's innings has gone as compared to against Singapore 3 evenings ago.
Yeah, I think they'll just have to look at this and think of the way they've approached their batting. In the 2 games against Zimbabwe, actually. A lot of what I would term unforced errors. I know that's something we normally use in a lot of other sports. Themselves, I think, in most circumstances, most instances.
I think especially when you're chasing in a T20 game and you've got a bit of a hit or miss scenario with your batters, then you find that you dig yourselves in a hole if you're not getting boundaries, and you end up just wanting to keep hitting everything so you can get some boundaries and some runs on the board. 12 overs gone, 63 for 5.
So there's the scorecard for Nepal. It's not a pretty one at the moment. Arif Sheikh, the only batsman really to have got going. And they've got to dig very, very deep here. They want to try and turn this around.
Backs against the wall at the moment for Nepal. 8 overs to go, 98 required. That rate above 12. Daniel Jackiel, debutant, back into the attack. That could be called wide and is.
They bowled right at the beginning of this innings when they were dealing in.
Conversation between Richmond Mtumbami and Sean Williams. It looks like Richmond Mtumbami is saying, get the man back on the cover boundary, bring the man up from deep mid-wicket, which is happening now. Tony Munyonga, that man. I think he's saying, just protect that offside, because Daniel Jackiel's got a position likely to bowl outside off stump, as opposed to anything else. Got the third man back and the long off as well. In fact, they brought the long on into the circle now. William Mashinga goes back to long on. Look for a couple here. Nicely placed behind the line at backward point. Back comfortably.
Yeah, we just haven't seen enough of that, have we? It was a lesser spot at 2 runs.
And that's what I'm talking about when I say a medium. Being able to open the face and maneuver the ball into the gaps and get, for example, that delivery 2 runs. You try and bash that ball and you miss it. Then you try another one and you miss it. And you really feel like, I need to get something out of the park. And that's where they've struggled once again.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with a nudge and a nurdle. Keep that strike rate board ticking away.
And then when you get the bad ball, you put it away anyway, because you've been getting yourself in a good position to maneuver the ball into the gaps.
It's all that pressure that we've been talking about.
Well, that'll be wide.
2 already in this over. But the problem is, of course, now that Nepal find themselves in, it is so difficult. Had they adopted that strategy, start, punish the bad balls, look for the singles, try and get a few doubles, the runs will come. Now they've left themselves so much to do. They're in this kind of very odd position, aren't they? 12 and over.
12 and over. And just above 7 overs, 5 wickets in hand. And really, the big guns who could have done the job for them, not that the remainder can't, but those that you would have expected to contribute the most to this run chase, are all back in the hut.
He was looking to play a shot at some point. He was flashing outside off stump earlier. They've got another couple. Balkami wasn't enjoying those balls pitched up outside off. This one was slightly shorter. Tara just has a little look around, wants to just tweak things a little bit. Pushing the man out now, mid-wicket. Yeah, what's coming?
Looking to cut that away. Bottom edge.
Gone for the full toss. Well, that one, a little bit frustrating for Bandari. End of the over. 70 for 5, Nepal. Well, there's our Tino presenting a cap. Always a proud moment for any national player, Tino. Tell us a bit more about here.
It's William Mashinge, boy who I've known for a few years. Went to Watershed College just outside the capital city, Harare. Passionate young, and eventually getting his T20 international debut. Passionate, plays for the same franchise as I do back home. So
No hug?
no hug. He had just done his warm-up, so he was a little bit sweaty.
And what was he like?
Yeah, I was a little bit smarter, looking dapper.
I do have to say, talking about dapper, our man in the commentary box with me is looking very, very smart, as you may have just seen.
Thank you very much.
Awarding that cap. I like what you've got on.
Shazad, you do have some kind words in you.
There we go. Look at this. Look at this.
Thank you very much.
You know,
Thank you very much.
In these tropical temperatures.
Yeah, I've realized over the last couple of evenings when it's a bit steamy, the blaze is a bit much, eh?
Yeah, but you know this. I mean, you're going to go out with this later, or
You want to talk about the wicket first, and then maybe.
oh yes. Well, okay. Let's not forget there is some cricket going on, and Nepal have lost yet another one. Sompal Kami. Oh dear, and right across that, and he's gone.
You'll be disappointed, and like I said, once you've got so many runs on the board, you don't really have the big guns who control the innings for you. It gets that much more difficult. Sompal's gone for 7, 72 now for 6, Nepal. Tinum Tumbuzi continues. That's the flighted leg spinner this time, inviting the batsman to try and play him through the side. Karen Casey, the new man at the crease, joining Binod Bandari, who's 14 not out from 21 deliveries. Look for 2. And we'll come back for that comfortably. Found that gap nicely wide of the man at long on.
Well, it was not the prettiest shot. I saw Nepal lose their 6th wicket. And it's just very, very difficult for them now, isn't it? As we just about hit the end of this over. 6 left after this. You're going to get shots like that from the tail. 75, 79 for 6, rather, after 14.
Zimbabwe's most senior bowler in today. In that last game against Singapore. And I think Zimbabwe missed him. 181 runs scored in 18 overs by Singapore.
Something tells me he will not be missing the second encounter in Singapore.
Not if it's by human choice, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that one's stinging a little bit, and Zimbabweans have come out today with just a little message. Nothing to prove, of course. They are far and away the top side here, but one will have hurt a little. Has made headlines around the world. Nicely played.
Great work from PJ Moore. Diving away to his right at fine leg. Certainly saving 3 runs for Zimbabwe. Very athletic, quick across the ground. Not afraid to get his uniform dirty.
There's always a few guys in our team playing back in the day who didn't like doing that kind of thing. Well, that was confidence.
Yeah, nicely played.
Yeah.
Looking to just find that gap fine of the man at third man. I was talking about uniforms and older people and not wanting to get them dirty. It reminds me of my other favorite sport was rugby back in school.
Right.
We used to wear white shorts. I used to play fly half, and I'll tell you what,
nice.
I think in 36 odd first team games, I only came off the field with my shorts dirty once.
Quite the achievement, really.
No, it's
Dresses like this.
It was muddy and I slipped in the rain. Good bouncer from Chita, not in picture at the moment.
You know, talking of rugby and underdogs winning, of course, let's not forget Japan's incredible the weekend, along with Singapore beating Zimbabwe. Japan beat Ireland at the Rugby World Cup. So it's been a nice little weekend for the underdog.
I think Ireland ranked number 1 at the moment, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Fantastic performance. If I remember well, Japan in the last World Cup beat the Springboks as well.
Yep, that's
So,
right.
Making a thing of upsets at World Cups.
Great to see. It's great, isn't it? In all these sports, in cricket and rugby, when you're seeing the minnows start to assert themselves, and it just opens up opportunities for them and gives other associate nations a real glimmer of hope that they can do it one day. I was hoping that Nepal would have given a bit more of a fight today. Gone for it. That should go right into that corner. It won't quite make it. I think they bowled and fielded pretty well today. They've let themselves down with the batting.
Absolutely. That batting department needs to be addressed. Worked well the other night against Singapore. Hasn't been so good this evening. 15 overs gone. 86 for 6. And when you return in the commentary box, it's going to be Navneet Krishna and Mr. De Silva.
So, and here we have Nepal's scorecard. Sean Williams is back on. Excellent figures. And we welcome Nav back into the commentary position. You've been getting a bird's eye view out there, Nav.
Got the best seat in the house, Shez. What a performance by Zimbabwe. Earlier on in the innings, something gave me the sense that 160 was definitely enough on this pitch. If it was the one that we used a couple of nights, probably not. But there's something in it for the bowlers, and a very good effort led by the captain, like you mentioned. Remark once again, a very good outing, always contributing with bat and ball. All in all, they've been all over Nepal this evening.
Yeah, they have really struggled with the bat, haven't they, Nepal? As they did similarly in that first game against Zimbabwe. We've got a lot of viewers in from Nepal. I think you had this wonderful stat, 50-odd thousand in that over the weekend. One game in particular, actually, it was one game, wasn't it? The one against Singapore.
It was the one against Singapore when Paras Katka went bonkers. We had over 50 current viewers. That is a milestone in itself for Singapore cricket, isn't it?
Absolutely brilliant. And well, Markham, that's a lovely shot. Binod Bandari has been doing all right out there.
He hasn't been in the best of forms. Binod Bandari has been criticized at times for getting out at wrong times, but doing himself no harm at all with this innings. 27 of 28. Well, they require plenty more. Karan Casey can certainly hit the long ball, and the key of that in the final 4 overs.
Yeah, he's been a little bit hit and miss, hasn't he? But he's not afraid to flash that bat. There's a prime example of that. But at this stage, they've only got 4 overs left. There really isn't. I mean, look at that equation. 16.7, 17 runs basically in over. Suppose you just have to hit absolutely everything.
Looks like it's going to be Zimbabwe back on the top of the table again with this win. They got the better of Nepal 4 nights ago on opening day. We have a few fans who have made their way this Tuesday evening as well, which is good to see. We saw plenty of people come into the Indian Association on Saturday and Sunday, also because their home team Singapore were in action. Good to see people turn out in decent numbers. I've been told that there's a decent sized Nepali community here in Singapore as well.
A lot of them, of course, from the Gurkha community, who serve with distinction in Singapore. And we're very proud to have them here, be part of our Singapore community. Big crowd as well on the sidelines. Good to have them. There you go. All excited to see their action.
And as we head into the final 4 overs, another change in the commentary box. I'm going to welcome Chamal back in again. And Shez, thank you. Well, they're trying to be a little adventurous here. Binod Bandari, Karan Casey and the Nepali batsmen. They've tried everything. It just hasn't come out good for them today.
Yes, I think Zimbabwe were able to hold their nerve, bowl good, kept it simple. The experience has come through.
Nights ago, most of those changes were in the bowling department. Masinge playing today. Daniel as well. And there was assistance for each of them. There was pace, and the spinners were quite accurate. They didn't turn too much, but good variety in the pace and the trajectories. And
once again, a good call to bring Masinge from the Balestier Road end. After he went for a few, when he commenced from the Rangoon Lane end side, providing him much more assistance than the other one, and he's also bowling better areas. Be a wide signaled. Here's a much more disciplined effort with the ball by Zimbabwe today. But I think the Nepali batter pointed. Of course, Paras didn't fire today, but you can't depend on one batsman for every match. People need to put their hands up.
Well, against the run of play, Karan Casey is doing what he does best, and that is hit mighty sixes that went well over long off for a handsome looking 6, and this is what he does. We saw him do so much of this at the Everest Premier League late last year. and ever so often brings his team back from really difficult situations with hits like that.
This Karan Casey hit that one a long way. He certainly put one up in the air. That one's got frequent fly miles on it. That went a long way.
Well, he's a strong lad, is Karan Casey, and he can hit them a long way. And another thing, like I mentioned, it is very similar to the Avinash Bora topic. He didn't finish his quota in the previous games and finally got to doing that today. I just get the feeling that Karan Casey should probably bat higher up the order. This that he can cause. And he comes in at number 7, number 8. Not too sure if it's doing justice to his talent.
Yes, he has a good technique and a good head on the shoulders. And he's a brave cricketer. And he reads the situation well. Those are all ingredients of a good batsman and a good cricketer.
This time over mid-wicket. The result, 4 runs on this occasion. But Karan Casey is giving the Nepali fans about here. Shot on this occasion from Mashinge. And he gives that a good hike.
He's held his shape beautifully there, Karan Casey. He's got arms like pistons. Certainly there's a sizable Nepali contingent, even though it's a working day here in Singapore. Beautiful shot.
Well, he's got nothing to lose. Throw the kitchen sink at everything. He's going for shot number 3. Unfortunately, we'll have to depart because that goes straight down the throat of deep square leg. Short ball, looked to pull it over the square leg boundary. Didn't make great contact and a good catch.
That man, Sean Williams, it's difficult to keep him out of the game today. Certainly would be one of the top contenders for player of the match. He's done everything for Zimbabwe today. He was high octane charged. I met him just before the game started. He's contributed in every aspect, with the bat, with the ball, and also in the field. Well, 59 now required of 20 balls.
Well, it almost feels like it's done and dusted here for Nepal, unless something quite miraculous happens from the bat of Binod Bandari and Sandeep Lamichhane. This man on screen, well, he's capable of doing things like that with the ball. But it's just been that kind of an afternoon, that kind of an evening for Zimbabwe, for frustrating with the bat, losing wickets at wrong times.
I mean, I'd never like to say never. The match isn't Lady Sings, but I can hear her clearing her throat in the back.
Right, to bowl his final over on what has been a fantastic evening. Williams, 2 for 16 thus far. Fantastic. Darting it into the right-hander, spinning away, more difficult. Quality act, he is the captain. Leading his team from the front, absolutely gutted with that loss 2 nights ago. Well, have Zimbabwe. Well, Sandeep Lamichhane is quite clueless at the moment.
Yeah, young Lamichhane, he needs a wider bat. Has missed a few, but he can't done his job with the ball. Sean Williams showing his class.
Manages to get some bat on it. Lucky that it didn't go straight. Just the single, and Lamichhane is lucky enough to get off strike.
Yeah, Sandeep Lamichhane, wonderful young man. Fighter on the park. Wonderful. Saw him exchanging tips with the Singapore young leg spinner Ananta Krishna. And that's another beautiful aspect of tournaments such as these, where the leg improves for all participants and the knowledge transfer.
This one's hiked over mid-wicket, does well to beat the fielder there and runs away for a boundary, and Binod Bandari is hanging in there. Useful contribution, 33 of 33. May not change the course of this game, but gives him plenty of confidence going into the next game.
Well, this is one thing I love about Nepal cricket. A group of fighters, they always give the good account of themselves. keep fighting till the end. But today, Zimbabwe demonstrating their class. That's it. He stumped. Sean Williams saw him coming, fired it in. The wicketkeeper does the rest. Nepal losing their 8th wicket.
Final delivery of his spell, and Sean Williams finishes with fantastic figures of 3 for 21 in his 4 overs. And that is after a remarkable half century with the bat as well, 53 to his account. So it has been a Sean Williams show this evening. The only difference between today and 2 nights ago is that Zimbabwe are on course for a comfortable victory.
Is Nepal a bit? I thought they did really well to restrict Zimbabwe to 160 at one stage. Zimbabwe looked for something over 180. They did well to pull the game back, but their batsmen have let them down. Zimbabwe at this juncture look on cruise control for a comfortable victory. At the end of 17 overs, Nepal 111 for the loss of 8. Jakiel, Daniel, tells me he's making his international debut on his 3rd over from the Balestier Road end. It's a very compact action, rhythmical run-up. Lamishane slices that one, back pass, backward point. Runs back for 2. Well, Nepal, they are certainly not dying wandering. They're going to go for it. This might be one Everest which is proving difficult to conquer.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if anything miraculous happens from here on. Sandeep Lamachine giving the field a good look. Wonder where he's going to go. My sense is the good old hit. That's what he does. Low full toss though. So there's not much you can do, just the single.
This is very good bowling by Jakiel, looking for the Yorker. Also the low full toss, not too easy to hit, even for a batsman. Lamishane more accomplished as a leg spinner.
Not too sure which pitch we're going to be using for tomorrow's game, Jamal, but if it's this one, 160 is certainly a good total, because on the previous pitch, 180, 190 was probably par score. And we felt Zimbabwe maybe 10-20 runs short at the halfway mark, only to realize that this pitch certainly has something in it for everybody.
Yes, the pitch certainly is one variable, but poor shot selection, poor situational awareness has cost Nepal the game today. I thought they pulled back the game from Zimbabwe, but they only managed to hand back the momentum to Zimbabwe. And a classy side like that, they're not going to hand it back to you.
No, it's a good point that you bring up, Jamal. And I'll be honest with you, the Nepal batsmen have been guilty of this in the past as well. Throwing away the completely unnecessary shots. And sometimes they leave it on the captain way too many times.
Wide signalled.
They're a talented bunch of batsmen. Dipendra Singh Airi, Karan Casey, Irfan, Arif Sheikh, Sompal Kami, the captain Paras Katka. So they have plenty of batsmen who can do the job. But sometimes it's just a case of application.
Yes, the big shoulders of Paras Katka carried Nepal for a long time. And the youngsters as well as the seasoned campaigners. There you go. Lushan Bari perishes, trying to loft that one over long on, only manages to get an outside edge. Jakiel banks in a wicket. He's happy. He's on the scoreboard literally in international cricket.
Well, yes, he is. It's been that kind of an evening for Zimbabwe. Almost everyone who has held the ball or the bat, has got onto the scoreboard, contributed to the team's success. And you can see Sean Williams there, marshalling his troops, giving the boys a good pat on their back because it's been an excellent, near perfect evening for Zimbabwe. And they're just one wicket away from a resounding win.
As you could see it from the moment when he walked out to bat with Zimbabwe in a spot of bother, how focused he was, took it upon himself, make sure that Zimbabwe got to a total that the bowlers could defend, and then straight away with the ball, made an impact and has marshaled his troops really well. It's been an outstanding job from the captain. Good support from the Zimbabwe team. We're having a little towel issues there. Jackie L returns face towel to the umpire there. As this throws the tournament wide open. Host Singapore taking on Nepal tomorrow. Then the final game between Zimbabwe and Singapore. Very good delivery once again. Right there in the block hole as the batsman tries to make some room. Plonked away to long on. Single to the total. That's the end of the 18th over, 19th over. And Nepal are 115 for the loss of 9 wickets.
Right, we're down to the final over of match number 4 at the Singapore Tri Nations T20I, brought to you by Instagram. And it looks like it's going to be Tendai Chatara from the far end to finish things off today. 46 required, so it pretty much does look like a Zimbabwe win. They can afford to smile now. They fought hard with bat and ball. And the results are there for everyone to see. An excellent team performance. Sean Williams, the captain, leading from the front.
This has been a wonderful tri-series thus far. I'm sure tomorrow we're going to see another wonderful game. So whoever is nearby, I do invite them all to come here and watch this excellent T20 cricket. Quality sides playing. We've seen some absolute quality games. Once again, a big sponsors and all of those tuning in on social media and on the live stream. Tomorrow's game between the host Singapore and Nepal. Do come down to the ground and support the teams.
A swing and a miss. It's all fours now on the scoreboard. 44, actually from 3 deliveries. Sandeep Lamishane has done well to survive 2 overs. Jamal, Kevin.
Young Lamishane remind me of Greg Norman with that swing. Looked like he pulled out the 9-iron. He's having a bit of... It's a competitor deep down inside, Sandeep Lamishane.
Wicket, will he? He's going to fight till the very end.
Yeah, well, he's done the sensible thing. He's taken a single and said to Avinash Bohar, to you.
I'll remain not out.
Little mini battle between the tail enders, who always fancy themselves as batsmen.
Absolutely. Tendai Chatara, he's been quite economical as well amongst the wickets. If you thought you could go home a little early, just hang in there. The umpire says, hold on, I'm going to make you wait a little longer.
Ali there from UAE, very experienced umpire. A wonderful group of officials here, being very consistent. Adds to the quality of the tournament, the quality of the cricket. Often a thankless job. They've been doing a good one.
Right, the penultimate ball of the game, and Avinash Bora gets one to bring Sandeep Lamichhane back on strike for the final delivery, with Nepal requiring 41. Improbable, impossible. Simply put, Zimbabwe have done very well to register their second win of the tournament.
Sandeep Lamichhane to face the last delivery.
A swing and a miss to end proceedings here. We come to the end of match number 4 of the Singapore Tri-Nations T20I, and Zimbabwe register a 40-run victory. Comprehensive performance, first with the bat and then with the ball. And Sean Williams will be a very happy captain.
It's been a pleasure commentating with you, Navneet. We'll see you all shortly with the award ceremony.
Pleasure having you here, Jamal. It's been a good evening of cricket. Certainly by the boys in red and yellow. Nepal will have a few things to think about when they come back tomorrow once again to face the host Singapore. They certainly got the better of Singapore the last time, courtesy and a remarkable century by the captain, Paras Katka. But one thing's for sure, they cannot rely on him alone. They will need to do better with the bat if Nepal would want to win more matches. Quick match summary there. Zimbabwe losing the toss were asked to bat first, put up 160, what we thought could have been any shot, but ended up being more than enough on a new track here in Singapore. Sean Williams leading from the front with a half century, 53 of just 35 deliveries. Ryan Burl, Peter Moore and Mutumbami contributing as well. The pick of the bowlers for Nepal, obviously Sandeep Lamichhane will always be amongst the wickets, 2 for 27. Somkal Kami has been good all through this series. Nepal, in response, could only manage 120 run-a-ball innings. Arif Sheikh and Paras Katka, just 2 batsmen managing double figures, and that has been the biggest problem for this Nepal side. With the ball, it was once again the captain, Sean Williams, leading from the front. 3 wickets for just 21 in his 4 overs. Motumbotsi, Daniel Jackell and Ryan Burl amongst the wickets as well. All in all, a comfortable, comprehensive victory for Zimbabwe. 2 wins out of 2 against Nepal in this series, and they win this game by 40 runs. Thank you for tuning in. For everyone watching live telecast of the Singapore Tri-Nations from around the world, it's goodbye and thank you, and we're going to see you in a few minutes for the post-match presentation.